Many a times we chase change like it's a moving target. We read the books, do the healing work, try the rituals, make the vision boards, but we still end up circling the same old patterns, listeners. It is different when you realize the issue might not be the effort, it might be misalignment. So, today on this episode of The Mindful Journey with your host Sana, we are going to explore a lens that is hiding in plain sight, literally sitting on your coffee tables all around the world. Our guests, Alexander Dunlop and Viki Scudiery, say the 52 card deck we grew up calling a game is actually a sacred technology, a blueprint of how life moves through us. And according to them, these source cards aren't about faithlessness. They are about clarity, strategy, and remembering who you were before life told who you to be. So if you have ever felt like you are hustling for breakthroughs that never stick or repeating patterns, even your therapist is tired of hearing about this conversation, it might hit that right reboot button within you. So, Alexandra and Vicky, welcome to the Mindful Journey. And as always, it's an honor to have both of you here with us.
Donna, thank you so much. It's really a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Every time, every time. Okay. So before we I think because it's a mindful journey, so of course, we'll definitely explore, how uh, everything, came on to be. But before that, because in the intro I mentioned source cards for our listeners, you say that these cards, they reveal the patterns we are born into. So, um, how does exactly someone know if the painful pattern that, let's say I'm stuck in a painful pattern, that can be, that could be actually a part of the design versus, just a learned behavior that I have absorbed, while growing up, or maybe through my past, any kind of traumatic experiences.
So what's the question?
So the first
Yeah.
thing that happens is we have this template that we're born into. And
Okay.
it's based on the regular deck of playing cards, which is an ancient system of knowledge reflecting
Uh-huh.
Earth, and it's based on math. And we're born into this template of energy patterns. There are 13 plus cards in what's called our life path. And so first comes the energetic template of these cards. And then, as you're saying, like these things play out in our life, like in our childhood, and then patterns start happening. The patterns reflect the energy patterns that we're already playing when we incarnate into our physical bodies. So this energetic template, and we're playing those cards. And so these patterns that come up are in the cards. You can see them in the cards, right? So it really brings clarity to, like, if somebody has that repeating pattern, they keep going through it over and over and over. It's like, wait, I have that pattern because in my life path of cards, these cards are showing where that pattern is in my life, right? Like, and it could, there's just, there's a lot to explain with all these different cards. We have cards that are challenges. Like, so there's a Saturn card, for example, that is about life lessons and challenges. So often the pattern that's recurring over and over and over is connected to that Saturn card, that it keeps playing out. And people are like, why does this keep happening to me? Well, because it's in your life path of cards. This is an energy pattern you're playing. So first, it's about having the awareness of the energy patterns that are in play, and then learning how to play it well.
Hmm. Interesting. I mean, this is right because people hear design and immediately worry that, they are kind of locked in. And I can imagine like listeners wondering, so that am I doomed or do I get to choose who I become? And I think, Vicky, like the way explained it, it answers, I think that answer really, really hit home for anyone wrestling with that tension or, going through that confusion. And Alexander, I'll just clarify that, I asked that, source cards, because you say that source cards, they reveal the patterns that we are born into. But then how, for example, if I am in some kind of pain due to any past traumatic experience or, anything, if I'm in that painful pattern and I'm stuck in, how exactly I'll accept, that, it's a design, or is it something because of that my past? So I think
The question is, how do you know whether the pain is a part of the journey or is something that you've brought on yourself?
exactly.
Question?
You got it right. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a great question. And that's actually one of the best things that these cards help you to see. Vicky referenced that you have a Saturn card in your life path, for example.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have a whole hand of cards. We have 13 cards in our life path. The Saturn card, the Pluto card is another one. Soul Challenge card is another one. These are the three most commonly associated cards in our life path with challenges or pain points. So if you're looking into your cards, or if we're doing it for a client and they're describing a problem to us and we look and see that that particular problem matches exactly with what their challenge is in life, then we could say, oh, pun intended, it's in the cards for you that you would experience that challenge in your lifetime. And that challenge is a lesson for you to learn.
Mm-hmm.
It's a challenge for you to overcome, and there is a way. There's always a way to learn it and overcome it. But one of the best things these cards do is actually to help us see exactly what the challenges are versus what are the things that we've imposed on ourselves, usually because we're resisting playing our cards right. Usually
Yeah.
why we suffer. In the Buddhist idea, we suffer because we're attached to certain mental concepts. It's similar. We suffer because we're attached to certain ideas about how we should be, where the cards will show you the authentic and true pathway of your soul. So that will help you relieve your mental suffering and mental attachment to certain concepts of how you think you should be, which is what causes you to get stuck in negative patterns that you don't need to be in because of your own attachments. So in that case, then the cards will show you exactly how to get out of your own stuck, self-imposed, painful pattern.
Mm, exactly. I think that's also such a very, very clear and very practical explanation. Um, and Alexander, so these cards, they are secret technology. You call them as secret technology. That's, first of all, it's a big statement. But then, um, what's the real evidence, or is there any lived experience, that convinced you, both of you, that this isn't just symbolism, but it is an actual energetic blueprint?
Well, it's my own personal experience with just, like finding out my cards to play and understanding my whole life path of cards. It's like this aha moment, like that's just transformative to know what I'm here to shine, how I'm here to radiate. Like, for example, I'm playing as my birth card, the Five of Diamonds. And the five is about being out of the box. Diamonds represent what you value most in your life, anything you can perceive with your five senses, the physical reality. And here I am teaching about a system that no one's ever heard of, like many people have never heard of, that was hidden. So, like, that would be a Five of Diamonds playing their cards right. Someone, here I am bringing a fresh new perspective to something.
Yeah.
So it's a real confirmation, to know the cards in play, to know I'm on the right path. And then to like see the challenge cards that Alexander was talking about. So I talked about the Saturn, and there's the Pluto, and then there's the Soul Challenge card. These cards that are like, it's a challenging energy for us, you know?
Right.
For me to learn those cards for myself was profound. Like that changed my life, you know? And I'll give you a perfect example. I definitely had the recurring pattern in the realm of dating and relationships prior to meeting
Okay.
husband Alexander, you know? Recurring pattern for me to, to be in relationships where the person I was dating was uh, not emotionally available. And I finally realized in myself that I wasn't emotionally available. At learning my cards to play, when I learned my Pluto card, one of the cards he mentioned, which is the shadow energy in the cards in one's life path, that represents the unconscious hidden fears. And my Pluto card is the
Mm.
Four of Hearts. And the four is a box, and
Okay.
box represent emotions. And I was shoving my emotions in a box. So I had this fear of actually feeling and expressing my emotions. And this was the recurring pattern, not about the other person that I'm dating. It's about me. I'm creating my reality, and the people showing up for me are a reflection of me. So I'm not emotionally available. And my Pluto, my fear is to express my feelings. So there it is in the cards. It's all in the cards. So really profound to really embody and activate these cards and learn more about oneself and play the cards well.
Wow. Yeah. What I understand is, so these cards, they are like, those guiding lights, or they give the direction, those nudges. But then the inner work that needs to be done, whether it's our personal life, or trying to explore who am I, or my purpose. Sometimes I think that definitely needs an effort from us. But then these cards, they can give us the direction, or they can be our, like, the guiding light towards that path.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you brought that up because it really requires, it's a journey. And this is not just, people will see their cards or they'll have a reading of their cards and it's like, oh, cool, my cards. And it's really accurate. And then they move on, you know. But really, this system can be used as a toolkit for your entire life. And that's our mission, to share that. It's not just just a novel, cool thing. It's
Yeah.
life-changing information, and it's to be used on a regular basis. As I was explaining it, like, I didn't just, like, learn that about my Four of Hearts and then, like, move on. Like, it's a daily thing for me, even to tune into my own feelings and express them. That's my journey. I'm gonna be on that journey until I die this lifetime, you know? So, yes, I'm so glad that you said that because it really, we need to do the work.
These cards provide the roadmap. The life path shows you the template, but you still have free will to choose to do with that whatever you will. And that is your work, we can say. That's your choice point of how you are going to choose to play your cards.
That's so true, Alexander. Vicky, you brought that example, and that really makes me ask you the next question, both of you. I'll start with first Alexander. Both of you. I mean, it's such a beautiful. Um, I'm not afraid to say there's a balance of masculine and feminine energy here, and I think that is so sacred. That is so powerful. And both of you come from a very different worlds. There is philosophy, and then Wall Street on one hand, then energy healing and intuition on the other. Um, how it all, started, and the most interesting part, like, where did your approaches, like, clash anytime? And if yes, then when exactly?
That's an interesting question. One of the ways that we clash the most, and this was especially early on in our relationship, First, I'll preface it by saying that Vicky is born to play the 5 of diamonds, and I'm born to
Yeah.
play the 9 of hearts. The 5 of diamonds is the Venus card in the life path of the 9 of hearts. So that means that the perfect romantic match for me is someone born to play the 5 of diamonds, because that's what I'm looking for in a woman. When I met Vicky, one of the first things I did was ask her birthday so that I could check if she's worth paying attention to, worth giving my time to, because I didn't want to waste my time with somebody who wasn't a good match for me. I had learned enough about these cards to know how accurate they are. So I knew she was my Venus card. Great. So we started dating, and yet we clashed, and we were confused about why we were clashing. Then we figured out that we have different love languages. Our ideas of giving and receiving love can be very different. Over the years, we've learned to appreciate each other's love languages. But in the beginning, we were confused. My birth card is in the suit of hearts, and my personality card of the 7 of clubs is in the suit of clubs. Born to play the 5 of diamonds with a Queen of Spades personality. Each of the 4 suits has a love language. There's a hearts love language and a clubs love language. There's a diamonds love language and a spades love language. So we were missing each other. We were both looking for the usual signs of love, the usual experiences or symbols, actions of what we would expect if someone loves us. But we weren't getting it in our usual way that we would expect. So we actually clashed on that in the beginning, and it led us into learning the love languages and learning each other's love languages.
Wow, it's like a missing piece of the puzzle.
Big missing piece.
Vicky, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I can feel that, that blushing, that feeling of, I don't know that. But I would love to know from your side of the story as well.
Well, it's just funny, like, when he says that, I think about the examples of, like, in the beginning, I remember, like, I bought him a shirt in the very beginning, and he kind of just, like he, like, opened the package, looked at it, and kinda just, like, was, like, a little stunned, and then, like, put it back, and that was, like, me that's a diamond love language, to buy a gift, and so, like, he was just kinda like I don't even know if he said thank you because he was kind of just shocked, like, "Oh, okay," like, and then put it back, you know? And then similarly, like, if he would, like, give me a hug or actually say, like, compliments or, like, club kind of love languages, like, "I love you," or "I care about you," or something like this, like, I it just wouldn't necessarily land for me because I really enjoy, like, acts of service, like, if someone, if, like, he cooks for me or if, like, we go out to dinner and we spend that quality time together, yeah, it's interesting, like, that's where I feel like, "Oh, you took the garbage out." I feel I feel so loved, but, like, hugging me, I'm like, "Yeah, okay, that's really nice," but, anyway, but it has changed tremendously. I feel that we all have the love languages in us. It's just, it's a matter of finding the balance. And I feel like I am expanding in my love languages. So now I also love his love languages, if that makes any sense. Like I feel like I'm expanding as a person. So, I'm finding more of all of it in myself. So yeah,
No, no,
it's funny.
it absolutely does, because especially I really loved the fact that you mentioned about, how you are also now understanding Alexander's love language, because many a times, um, I don't know if I'm right or wrong here, but we're kind of fixated on, our expectations. Oh, they'll do that for me, or then only that only means that they love me.
Yes.
But it
Yes.
may be a different language altogether. And we may not be able to understand that, if we are kind of boxed, fixated into that particular language. I really love that, it's coming from the point of compassion and empathy and understanding each other's language. And that's how I think the masculine and feminine energy blend.
Well, what's interesting is that we are the inverse of what you would expect in gender roles. Because my birth card of the 9 of hearts, I tend to be more emotional. I'm the one who cries at the end of the movie. I heart energy. And Vicky, with her diamond and spade love language, is more like just the facts, man. Buy the book, take out the dishes already, and buy me dinner. Like the kind of things that a man would typically do for a woman, like take her out to dinner, do something for her. And stereotypically, the woman being more emotional or more talkative, my love languages are the emotions and the talking. So that's another part of our dance that we've learned over the years, to dance in the different expectations, inversions of gender roles, in order to be truly authentic to us and authentic in the relationship and cultivating an authentic, healthy, happy relationship dynamic.
And I also want to learn from how, you show up as well. Like, if that you are more emotionally sensitive, I'm learning from that as well, to be more feminine and to be more in my feminine energy. It's helpful for me because it's important for me to also be in my feminine energy, or if I'm like too much in masculine and then I'm totally out of balance.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I can't imagine, I think listeners will get that, that those vibes, but this is so healthy, especially it could be different from the topic that we are diving deep here, but I think it is such an integral part of our lives, especially when it comes to relationships and, the preconceived notions and the norms. In fact, it kind of you guys busted my misconception as well. So this is such, I mean, honestly, this is such a beautiful, blend here. Um, and I think when it comes to partnerships, they get real when, you start building something that has both logic and magic baked in. And I think people will definitely appreciate hearing, the messy parts, because it really, really makes us human, not just something in from the cosmos or mystical. Ah, brilliant, brilliant. So Alexander and Vicky, I'm so sad that we are short on time, but if listeners, I'm very sure they are so curious to explore this. If they would like to connect with both of you, explore more about the source cards, and if they would like to share their thoughts about this conversation with you, what would be the best way to connect?
So you can follow us on social media on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, and it's at the Source Cards. And you can also go to our website, thesourcecards.com, and that's where you can find out your cards to play. You can plug in your birth date on the home page and get your birth card and personality card and start to learn about your cards to play. If you want to learn all 13 cards in your life path, I would recommend getting Alexander's book called Play Your Cards Right, A Sacred Guide to Life on Earth. That's also on the website. We have lots of great offerings on the website, and it's a lot of fun to explore.
Beautiful, beautiful. Listeners, I mentioned all the details in the show notes, so just make sure to check out all the links in there along with this episode on whichever platform you listen to your podcast to. And I think what we witnessed today, what we heard from Alexander and Vicky, I think it didn't ask us to believe anything blindly here. It asked us to remember who we are, what we always sensed. And there's a rhythm beneath our habits. It's a design beneath our defenses, and maybe even a map beneath our struggles. So, when it comes to the source cards, one thing that I've realized through my conversation with Alexander and Vicky is that they aren't here to tell us who we are or who we have to be. I'm so sorry, who we have to be, but they are an invitation to meet who we have always been. So, Alexander and Vicky, thank you so much for both of you. Whatever you are doing, this is I think very much needed. And thank you so much. This is really, really beautiful.
Thank you. It's been amazing.
Thank you.
And listeners, thank you so much for devoting your time to tune into this episode of The Mindful Journey. Until next time, honor your path, trust your timing, and remember, you are not here to fit the pattern. You are here to understand it. Until the next time, this is your host, Sarah, signing off. Thank you.